I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this. It's too much pressure. I'm not gonna do this. I'm doing it! Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is a channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on, and talk about some books. So despite the fact I have about a million different TBRs for the month of September, I decided why not add one more and participate in Becca's Bookoplathon. If you're not already aware, Becca's Bookoplathon is a month-long readathon hosted throughout the month of September, and it's based on Becca's own TBR game, which is Bookopoly, based on Monopoly, obviously. You start on go, roll the dice, land on the different spaces on the board, and build out your TBR using the different prompts that are on the board. And so I've decided that because of a major FOMO, I am going to participate in Bookoplathon this month. Before I get started on my own TBR, let me know down in the comments down below if you are participating in Bookoplathon, what your TBR is looking like, whether you're going to be reading the books in the order that you roll them, or if you're going to, like me, just use it as a TBR and then read the books in order of priority based on what you need to take to Australia. Can you tell I'm panicking? I love to chat to you guys in the comments down below, so do come and let me know. But without dilly-dallying or dawdling anymore, let's get into my rolls for Bookoplathon. So my first roll gave me The Audacity by Katherine Ryan, and now this is a memoir style book, I believe, and I think the cover is absolutely beautiful. Katherine Ryan is a comedian. I think she's an American comedian living in the UK from memory, and this book is just supposed to be really, really funny and fun. But as for what it's about, I'll give you a quick read of the blurb, and it says, "I've come to accept that being audacious is a gift I can't escape. People know my onstage comedy persona or my scripted ballsy characters and wrongly assume that I must stomp around all day in designer dresses, eviscerating those who dare to cross my path. But mostly, I'm just sat eating pickles and being nice to some dogs. Whatever strangers think of me is fine with me. How audacious is that? I can always take a joke and I don't waste time worrying about things I can't control. I embrace the reality that you just can't please everyone, so you might as well put yourself out there and have a laugh. As my mother always said, Catherine, if we all like the same thing, we'd all be married to your father." I'm often asked how I developed my lurid level of courage and assurance, and for tips on how others can match. The Audacity is my blueprint for just that. You will learn how to become the most popular girl in school, how to waste all your money on designer dogs, and how to attract toxic men and keep them interested, and so much more. Secrets are my favorite things to be told, and I figured I'd better tell a few juicy ones myself too. Why not? No matter what I do, there will always be something about me that reads as simply outrageously audacious, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So this sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's a great book to read in the month of September when I'm already reading so much. It'll be a good palate cleanser, so this is the first roll. Roll number 2 gave me Theatre of Marvels by Leanne Dillsworth. This is a book that Ben actually bought me recently, and I think it also has the most stunning cover that every time you look at it, I feel like you see something different, something new. Obviously, I don't know anything about it because I was not the one that picked it out, so I'm going to be reading you the blurb again, and it says, "Behind the spectacle, there are always secrets. Unruly crowds descend on Krillick's Variety Theatre. Zilla, a black British actress, is headlining tonight. An orphan from the slums of St. Giles, Zilla's rise to stardom is her ticket out. To be gawped and gazed at is a price she's willing to pay. Rising up the echelons of society is everything Zilla has ever dreamed of, but when a new stage act disappears, Zilla is haunted by a feeling that something is amiss. Is the woman in danger? Her pursuit of the truth takes her into the underbelly of the city, from gaslit streets to the sumptuous parlors of Mayfair, as she seeks the help of notorious criminals from her past and finds herself torn between two powerful admirers. Caught in a labyrinth of dangerous truths, will Zilla face ruin or will she be the maker of her fate?" So a fun sort of mystery, murder mystery maybe, or just a sort of disappearing person mystery. It's surrounded by this circus, this performance style, so I hope it's going to be very theatrical, very just over dramatic, over the top. But yeah, this is the second book. So my third roll ended up with A Kingdom of Flame and Fury. This is one of the books that I'm going to be reading on Kindle as part of my Australia TBR. If you watch that video, which I'll link up above and down below, you know that I'm not bringing any books with me to Australia. I'm just bringing my Kindle, and this is my effort to actually finally read some of the books on my Kindle Unlimited subscription. As for what this book is about, it says, at 10 years old, Raven was mysteriously willed to be the next ruler of Solia, a kingdom nestled within the realm of the Four Kingdoms. Orphaned as a baby, she has spent 15 years ruling over a kingdom she believes she did not earn, all while hiding secrets. She possesses dark magic and she thirsts for blood. Now at almost 25 years old and with a sudden addiction to stealing life, Raven must fight through her new procured darkness to save her soul. But when a mysterious stranger arrives in her kingdom, she starts experiencing vivid dreams that detail who she truly is. As she slowly starts to unravel her story, what she uncovers at the end of the spool will change the course of her life and her kingdom forever. So sounds super, super interesting. I love a good fantasy, hopefully a bit of fantasy romance as well. I am praying for that because that is just what I'm going to be wanting to read while I'm in Australia. Rule number 4 had me ending up with one of my purchases from Yalk, which was The Last Girl by Goldie Moldavsky. This is supposed to be a sort of love story to the horror movie genre, centered around a girl named Rachel Chavez who much prefers horror movies to the realities of her sort of fancy New York high school. But she's soon recruited into the Mary Shelley Club and is forced to undertake its horrifying fear tests, which are elaborate pranks inspired by urban legends and horror movies. It says, what starts out as fun soon turns deadly as Rachel's past catches up with her, and this is one game that she can't afford to lose. The very, very beginning of this blurb sort of isolates a few of those horror movie tropes, and I really, really hope the rest of that book sort of plays on those tropes and just celebrates the tropes that come with horror movies, and this ends up just being that ode to horror movies that I want it to be. So hopefully this will be a good read, but this is number 4. I'm kind of worried about book number 5, which is The Broken Girls by Simone St. James, only because I just recently started and DNF'd Lost Among the Living by Simone St. James, so I'm worried that I'm not going to enjoy this, but it is still on my list for both this and Magical Readathon. As for what it's about, I'm going to read you the blurb because I really don't know, and it says, just get away, don't think about it, just run. 1950, at the crumbling Idlewild School for Unwanted Girls, 4 roommates begin to bond over dark secrets and whispered fears until one of them mysteriously disappears. Present day. Journalist Fiona Sheridan can't get over the murder of her sister 20 years ago, near the ruins of Idlewild. And when another body is found during renovations of the school, she'll begin to uncover horrors that were meant to remain buried and a voice that won't be silenced. So hopefully the sort of more creepy setting will make me love this book a bit more than the other one. So roll number 6 had me on Gothicana by Runix. This is one that I know Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction read recently, didn't absolutely love, but I'm interested in it and I want to give it a go anyway. As for what it's about, it says, an unusual girl, an enigmatic man, an ancient castle. What could go wrong? An outcast her entire life, Corvina Clem is left adrift after losing her mother. When she receives the admission letter from the mysterious University of Varenmore, she accepts it as a sign from the universe. The last thing she expects, though, is an old and secluded castle on top of a mountain riddled with secrets, deceit, and death. An enigma his entire life, Vad Deverell likes being a closed book, but knowing exactly everything that happens in the university. A part-time professor working on his thesis, Vad has been around long enough to know the dangers the castle possesses, and he knows the moment his path crosses with Corvina, she's dangerous to everything that he is. They shouldn't have caught each other's eye. They cannot be. But a chill-inducing, century-old mystery forces them to collide. People have disappeared every 5 years for over 100 years, and Corvina is getting clues to unraveling it all. And Vad needs to keep an eye on her. And so begins a tale of the mystique, the morbid, the macabre, and a deep love that blossomed in the unlikeliest of places. So I'm hoping there's a romance, I'm hoping there's a murder mystery, and that just sounds like a perfect combination for me, as well as the fantasy element obviously thrown in here and the magic. So I'm hoping that means it'll be a love for me, but maybe I'll end up thinking the same as Ashley, I don't know. Role number 7 had me picking up a TBR vet, which is Legend Born by Tracy Dion. I believe the sequel has come out, if not fairly recently, it's definitely out. And I believe this is sort of inspired by this sort of Arthurian legend, maybe. It says, some legacies are meant to be broken. After her mother dies in an accident, 16-year-old Bree Matthews wants to escape. A residential program for bright high schoolers seems like the perfect opportunity, until she witnesses a magical attack her very first night on campus. A flying demon feeding on human energies, a secret society of so-called Legendborn that hunt the creatures down, a mysterious mage who calls himself a Merlin and who attempts and fails to wipe Bree's memory of everything she saw. The mage's failure unlocks Bree's own unique magic and a buried memory from the night her mother died. Now Bree will do whatever it takes to discover the truth, even infiltrate the Legendborn. But when the Legendborn reveal themselves as the descendants of King Arthur's knights and foretell the magical war, Bree must decide how far she'll go for the truth. Should she use her magic to take the society down, or join the fight? So yeah, definitely inspired by the King Arthur legend. You've got Merlin, you've got these descendants of King Arthur's knights. I think it's a sort of YA fantasy. I'm really excited because I love the Arthurian legend. I'm obsessed with it. Role number 8 had me picking up another one of my Kindle Unlimited books, which is The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle L. Jensen. This is supposed to be a fantasy romance. It's supposed to be an amazing entrance into fantasy romance for people, and I haven't read it, and I love that genre, so I feel like it's just a matter of time before I pick this one up. As for what it says on the blurb, it is a warrior princess trained in isolation. Lara is driven by 2 certainties. The first is that King Aaron of the Bridge Kingdom is her enemy, and the second is that she'll be the one to bring him to his knees. The only route through a storm-ravaged world, the Bridge Kingdom enriches itself and deprives its rivals, including Lara's homeland. So when she's sent as a bride under the guise of peace, Lara is prepared to do whatever it takes to fracture its impenetrable defenses, and the defenses of its king. Yet, as she infiltrates her new home and gains a deeper understanding of the war to possess the bridge, Lara begins to question whether she's the hero or the villain. And as her feelings for Aaron transform from frosty hostility to fierce passion, Lara must choose which kingdom she'll save, and which kingdom she'll destroy. Passionate and violent, The Bridge Kingdom is a seductive fantasy perfect for fans of From Blood and Ash and A Court of Thorns and Roses, both a series that I really enjoy. Love the fantasy romance, love the enemies to lover. Sorry for the construction going on in the background. Hoping that this is a massive love for me, and it's definitely going to be read soon because I'm heading to Australia soon, and it is on my Australia TBR, which I will link up above and down below if I haven't done already. Rule number 9 had me picking up another Kindle Unlimited, also on my Australian TBR. Why do they start construction as soon as I start filming? This happens every time. But that book is Savage Lands by Stacey Marie Brown. Now this is one that I believe Becca might be picking for her own book club as part of her Patreon, which I suggest everyone goes and joins because it is so much fun over there. We have a lovely time chatting about Buffy and all the new fantasy romances and just celebrating in our love for Sarah J Maas's books. The blurb for Savage Lands says, almost 20 years after the barrier between Earth and the other world fell in the Fae Wars, Budapest is balancing on the precipice. A battle for dominance is brewing between the elite Fae and the privileged humans in Eastern Europe. The prejudice between the sides is bubbling with hate and violence. 19-year-old human Brexley has grown up in privilege, but not without heartbreak. After being orphaned, she is taken by General Marcos, living in a walled city rife with power grabs and ruthless political games. Then one night, the course of her life changes, and Brexley is thrown into the most feared prison in the East, Halahaz, the House of Death, where you go in but don't come out. She must learn to live with the worst of Fae and human criminals. The rule of hierarchy puts humans on the bottom, where the only way to survive each day is to make alliances with the Fae. Here she meets the sexy, vicious legend Warwick Farkas, a myth among man and Fae. He is as brutal, cruel, arrogant, and as lethal as the law says he is, ruling the prison with unchallenged authority. Brexley can't deny an intense draw to him, one that might cost her life. If the games don't take her out first, a fight to the death where only one survives. So again, fantasy romance set in Eastern Europe, which I actually haven't read many books set in Eastern Europe, so I'm excited to see that new setting and fall in love with it. Maybe a bit of enemies to lovers, maybe a bit of like alpha hole sort of vibes. And my final role had me picking up My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, which is a recent purchase and a recent release. It is Tessa Bailey's latest release, and it's sort of a murder mystery meets rom-com kind of vibes, which is just fascinating to me, and I think this cover is absolutely beautiful. I love the sort of spring colors on it. Autumn might not be the best time to read this, but I am addicted. As for what it's about, it says, it was supposed to be a relaxing vacation in sweet sunny Cape Cod, just me and my beloved brother, but discovering a corpse in our rental house really throws a wrench into our tiny schedule. Now, a rude, crude bounty hunter has arrived on the back of his motorcycle to catch the killer and refuses to believe I can be helpful despite countless hours of true crime podcast listening, not to mention a fulfilling teaching career of wrangling second graders. A brash bounty hunter and an energetic elementary school teacher, the murder-solving team no one asked for. But thanks to these pesky attempts on my life, we're stuck together, come hell or high tide. I am hoping it just celebrates those of us who love true crime, and I am definitely one of them. I'm hoping it just loves on those sort of true crime obsessed, need to solve the mystery in the moment sort of things. Baby Short as well, which I love, and I think it's going to be a bit of a grumpy sunshine, maybe hate to love kind of thing as well. So super, super excited to pick this one up when I get around to it. It's probably going to be my right after Australia, need a cozy, easy palette cleanser kind of read. I also tried the first chapter of it in a recent Try a Chapter tag, which I'll link up above and down below for you to go and check out. So I can't wait to pick this one up. So that is my TBR for Bookoplathon. As you probably have noticed if you've watched some of my other videos, there is a lot of crossover between this and between a number of my other TBRs for the month of September and for going into fall, purely because I want to just kind of smash out as many books as I can, but also not have a ridiculous number of books on my TBR so that I don't just crack under the pressure. But anyway, let me know down below whether you are participating in Bookoplathon, what you are planning to read. If I have sold you on Bookoplathon, maybe do go and check out Becca's announcement video. It is going to be super fun, and just let me know what you're planning to read for the month of September anyway. I love to chat to you guys in the comments down below, and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really, really hope that you loved this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super, super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye.